else? Sit down. Simmer down, team. Come on. Okay, so candidates, it's going to work slightly differently than it did for the part-time positions. You will each get the same opportunity for a 2-minute opening speech. We will remind you when you've got 10 seconds to go. And then you will be given the opportunity to answer some questions from social media and from the floor. However, there is a slight difference. You will then get to respond to one another. So if there is something that you would like to bring up in response to somebody's question, then you may do so until either I think we're going around in circles or until you have sort of decided that you're done with that issue. You then get the opportunity for a 1-minute closing speech where you maybe get to clear up anything that you did say or you thought you could say in the questions. So again, to change it slightly, to make it roll on a bit quicker, could we not have a round of applause after every question? Rounds of applause after speeches is that's fine, but just to keep it rolling on because we are significantly over time already, if you could just keep it to a round of applause after speeches, not questions. And you may take the microphones from the stand and bring them to the seats if you want, so that you can answer questions, or if you'd rather stand up, that's fine, but just so that you're not having to constantly get up and down. Okay, so Nat, you are going first. So our first candidate for the position of Vice President AU in Sport is Natalie, so take it away.
I'm Natalie Atkinson, and I just wanted to start by saying how much sport in Keele has changed. Most of my friends are from women's basketball and boat club and swimming, so I wouldn't be in like the happy Keele bubbly place that I would be if it wasn't for sport at Keele. And what I want to do is I want to try and get that across to all students that come in. Like this year we saw a massive increase in the number of freshers that signed up, and yet still only a quarter of those continued attending sports teams, and I feel like this is something that we really have to change. I also want to focus on health in Keele in general, not only just through exercise but also through healthy eating plans. The Commons restaurant has already done so much to improve like the healthy options that are available, but the actual campus shops don't have anything in the way of meal deals that include fruit or healthy snack options or anything like that. I also want to encourage more casual play through things like five-a-side tournaments and netball tournaments, and also to try and increase the amount of things like cycling done on campus to try and encourage students to who live in Hawthorns, for example, not to get the bus but to cycle to their lectures instead. I also want to work hand in hand with other student support systems such as mental health and wellbeing to offer things such as free yoga during exam season to try and limit the amount of stress. Facilities always need improving, and in Keele this is specifically the case. It's ridiculous when you look at, for example, Newcastle-on-Tyne College. Their facilities are absolutely amazing, and yet we still don't have a 3G pitch.
10 seconds.
So anyway, all my other stuff is in my manifesto, so if you read that, I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. And Lucy. Go for it.
Hello, my name is Lucy O'Dwyer, and I want to be your VPA in sport. Sport has always been a massive part of my life, and there's not many sports that I've not played at some point. But at Keele is where I've really found a passion for it, and through being a part of sports teams and being a part of the AU committee has really helped me create a base of people and a friendship group and a passion for sport, and that's something that I want to help support every person at Keele that wants to be involved in sport. I want to help them achieve that and have the same experience that I've had. As I said, having been a member of the AU committee this year, it's given me a wealth of knowledge that is vital in learning the improvements that need to come as a member, as the VPA in sport. It's something that I've been able to build relationships with current SU members, the current SABs, the AU committee, along with the sports centre staff that I also have a very good relationship with. and this is one of the reasons why I want to take this next step. My manifesto outlines several things, and I'm not going to run through all of them because you may have read it already. But the main focuses that I do want to focus on are around the athletics union and the better flowing and the better communication of that, along with sport and the openness of that at Keele. So, the headings that I have, so better profile in sport at Keele, better numbers of students involved in sport at Keele, better lifestyle and health at Keele, and better charity and funding at Keele, and then overall better for Keele. So with things such as, you know, healthy eating, nutritional, give it a go, sports.
10 seconds.
So to conclude, I want to be your VPAU in sport because I'm passionate about this job. I've been passionate about it for a year, and I just want to give back. Thank you.
We have 5 more questions. So first of all, Lucy, if you would like to answer the first question, take it away, Paul.
And this one is specifically to Lucy. You mentioned reshuffling team committee and the AU committee roles to make things clearer for students. What changes do you have in mind, and how will they make the AU more accessible to students?
This is something that we discussed as an AU committee already this year. This is basically that some of the committees in the AU have grown in numbers, and it's becoming inefficient to have 12 members on a committee when you've only got 20 or so members in your club. And the reason that we want this is we want a more coherent and streamlined method of getting the communication across from the AU committee or from the VP and the SABs, or working it down to the members. So basically it's just a case of cutting down and finding those vital roles, and then making sure that those vital roles are passing on the information properly. And instead of having sometimes questionable committee positions that don't really bring anything to the club, when it can be easily delegated or offered to somebody else so basically, yeah, just cutting down and focusing in a little bit better. Thank you.
Do we have no clapping. Do we have a question for Nat?
Yes, we do. In your manifesto, you referenced that you will attempt to bring Richie's Cafe under the AU and SU control. What inquiries have you already made about this, and how will you negotiate this move with the university?
I have actually already made quite a few inquiries about this, and it has been frustrating because Richie's is owned by catering, but it seems to be the AU aren't really involved. The sports event centre don't really seem to care about it that much either. But like, I went to I can't remember what it's called, like, but all these senior representatives of each area of the university there. So I was talking to my class for sports, and one of the areas I brought up was Richie's Cafe. And he told me to go to catering and go talk to them. And I sat down, and they were like, but it's in the sports centre. So there seems to be a lack of communication, and I feel like there needs to be more fluidity between all the departments in the university. So the sports centre, I know they're all working together, but it's not as fluid and as transparent as it can be, and it was evident then where the departments weren't sure actually where to send you to get answers. And that's what I want to increase, make it more fluid, make it more transparent, and just encourage every single department of the university to think about every single other department.
There are 3 questions from the floor for both candidates. First question for both candidates. Some might say that sport is considered elitist and therefore inaccessible to the average student. What will you do to eradicate this?
Nat, would you like to take that one first?
I actually do strongly agree with that. When I first came to Keele, I was originally going to be joining either hockey, netball or swimming. And it wasn't because the teams put me off, it was the fact that they talked about, and this is great, about how much success they've had. And that's great, but then I felt as someone who hadn't played those sports for 3 or 4 years, I thought, there could be a possibility that I wouldn't be involved in the main club. And it's only through I first then joined women's basketball, because they were much smaller, much, they kind of were like, let's just throw everyone at everything and see what happens. And it's only through being part of that club that I realised, actually, every club is like this. Hockey would not have kicked me out because I was shit at hockey. What can I say that?
Yeah, go for it.
And I feel like it is quite intimidating for freshers to do that. And I feel like one way you can improve that is by, yes, you've got the great taster sessions, but they need to run throughout the year, and you need to invite students to your matches to see that, it is about including everyone in the sport, and you need representatives at the Freshers' Fair who are not only from the first team, they need to be casual players on the table as well, to try and get other, less experienced players into the sports teams as well.
Thank you. Lucy.
Yeah, this is one of the main points that I've come across when speaking to students, and is one of the areas in my manifesto. I agree with what Natalie said. Sometimes some of the sports can seem a bit confronting, or if you've not necessarily played a sport for a while, and then I fancy, like myself, I hadn't played football for a while, and I just turned up to women's football, and I settled in really nicely, and it made my time here at Keele amazing. But sometimes people don't have that same experience, and this is why one of the things that I wanted to do is have the Give It a Go sessions or the social sports sessions. So basically, throughout the year, have just book off the Astro and say, everybody, we've got this, or boys, anybody that's not normally playing football or don't want to play for the football team, but just want to play football on this day, at this time, come along. And it might be a case of trial and error, it might not work, but it's something, it's trying. Another side to it was the Sports Fest idea that I've researched, and it's the fact that we have in Freshers Week 2 days where we have all the tables lined up, people come down, hanging out their arse after Freshers, and they walk around, and it's whoever can attack them first, join our club. And although that can be quite off-putting, it worked for me. But what the problem is that 2 days is not reaching out to enough of the student population. So what I would want to do is create a week of opportunities for students to come down to the sports centre, come down, give it a go, timetable the trials and the taster sessions, so that if I wanted to do netball and hockey, that they weren't clashing, so that I was being able to reach more sports in a longer space of time, and then hopefully we can pull in some more people. Thank you.
Second question for both candidates.
Okay. Do you want to the opportunity to feedback sort of at the end, or do you want it after each? Go for it then.
Yeah, this was just a build on, Lucy had an excellent idea of just looking out the Astro and just saying, calm down and have a go. And something that I want to that I miss from high school, and I know I bet a lot of lads and a lot of girls miss it, is lunchtime, everyone play football. And why isn't there the ability for students to just go on the field and have a kickabout, 12 till 2? And that's something I want to be able to encourage, to kind of bring back the cheesy high school camaraderie around lunchtime football playing.
Thank you. Lucy, is there anything you want to add to that? Then we'll move on to the next question, and it's you answering first, Lucy.
Question for both candidates again. How would you encourage students to become more active around campus?
Say active around campus?
Yes.
So, as I said, one of the problems that we've established is that there is a small number, there's 1,300 people with athletic union memberships at this moment in time, roughly, with most of them, as Natalie's mentioned, quite a few of them not actually partaking in sport anymore. This is a growing problem because one of the things that I mentioned is health and lifestyle in my manifesto, and that is to increase exercise across campus. We are very much a campus university, and there's trees everywhere. It offers an image of green and environment and health, and yet we're not necessarily living up to that. And one of the things that Joe Baker, the current VPA in sport, is trying to push is the cycling and other things like that. But to try and encourage more activity around campus, I think we just need to really focus on getting people down to the sports centre, picking up a tennis racket, picking up a badminton racket, putting on some football boots, just playing for fun and removing that competitiveness away from it, because otherwise you can't necessarily just get people running around, because the idea of running around, I even get heart attacks. So we just need to get people enjoying sport again, and by doing fundraisers and charity events that incorporate fun and charity and sport, I think are another idea as to how we're going to get people more involved and active on campus. Thank you.
Thank you. And Nat?
One of the things I mainly wanted to kind of focus on was the use of, or the I don't know the appropriate word, the putting into place a scheme where students felt it was easier to get around campus. For example, I did a semester in Tennessee, and one thing that they had at their university was the ability to hire bikes. And this was great because you don't necessarily want to have the expense of a bike, or you don't know how to maintain a bike, or you don't want to drag your bike up with the chance of it being stolen. And something like a bike hire scheme around campus would enable students to explore the possibility of cycling before they made the investment into an actual road bike for themselves. And just, that was one of the main things I really think are just day-to-day increasing of activities by just walking to lectures and stuff instead of getting the bus.
Thank you. Lucy, have you got anything you want to add to that? Do we have another question?
Yeah, it's working. We have one final question from the floor for both candidates. What experience do you have within the athletic union already that will help you within this role? What experience do you already have that will help you with this role?
Nat, would you like to take that one first?
The experience, I've been a part of 2 sports teams quite regularly, words don't come from my mouth right now, but both women's basketball I joined in my first year, and then I joined boat club when I came back from Tennessee, and I was quite involved with both these sports. Women's basketball, for example, I was the social sec, and I really felt that when I was in that role, I tried to make the club much more of a joint thing, because before it felt very much like there was the starting 5 that were friends, and then there was everyone else that was friends. And I wanted to kind of smash everyone together during socials. And I feel like I achieved that. Within Boat Club, I work although I don't have an official committee role, I'm a very committed member of the team. I have not missed a single training session, apart from Tuesday. And I work very closely with the men and women's team captain, because I want that club to be the best it can be, and I want to try and encourage the novices to stay. Boat Club is prolific for novices not attending and dropping out, and that was something I wanted to change. And I feel like I did by feeling able to talk to those that I needed to talk to. And that's it.
Thank you, Lucy.
So in my first year, I joined women's football. I wouldn't say I'm the best footballer. Joe's laughing at me. But I built up a reputation of being committed and hardworking, and I turned up to every single training, even with a broken arm. The coach did to me. And then by the time it came around to elections for committee for football, I put myself forward for first team captain, and I got it. I spent second year then coaching and training the team. We won at varsity, which was the highlight of my Keele career so far. There's been nothing better. And I had a fantastic year of bringing the girls together and really creating a team spirit, which again then led me on to think, I've been team captain, what more can I do? I love this spirit that I've created for one team. I now want to take that and give it to the rest of the AU. So having convinced Mike Huss to create another AU committee position, I got elected in at the AU Council, and I've not looked back. I couldn't have been happier to spend a year working in that AU office with the AU committee. It's been hard, it's been tough, there's been tears and all the rest of it. But we nearly got there, and it's that experience, I think, of learning where things have gone wrong and where things we know we can improve on, and where things we know as a group of people we did right and we've done well, that I think I can take forward from this now into the role, and hopefully continue the excellent work that Sabs and Joe has done this year. So thank you very much.
Nat, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Then it's your opportunity for a 1-minute closing speech. To say anything that you want to say.
My main thing is I just really want to make the student experience in the world of sports, and not just sport. I just want to make the Keele student experience as good as it can be. And I know sport is such a major part, and I feel like it should be more of a part of everyone's lives rather than just the actual competitive people. I just want to, work on things like health, like funding, encouraging the sports teams to look at sponsorships and making the community work very tightly as a unit, and putting more transparency through from the committee to the club committees, then to the club members. And I just want a more united AU.
Thank you.
I didn't prepare for this. So basically, I'm passionate about sport now, and I want to share that passion and give it back to the students of Keele, because Keele has given me so much, and I'm dedicated in making the positive changes that we need to make in sport and in KeeleSU, and for each other, and that's all I can offer you, and I will work hard every single day to make sure that I can do that. So thank you. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you very much to both of our candidates for VP AU Sport, Natalie Atkinson and Lucy O'Dwyer. If we can now ask the candidates